Shalom and welcome to 2 Minutes of Torah. This year is entitled Understanding Grief and Living Through It. Jane Brody wrote a fascinating article for the Times in January 2018 about some recent books that read on grief. What I find so fascinating, you read these books and she's saying that there's a new approaches, a new trends in the area of grief and dealing with grief with oneself and with others. So many of these points are straight from our Torah, from our Masorah, from Chazal, from our rabbis. It's nice to see the world is seeing these ideas. It said it took so long, but it's beautiful to see the eternal truth of the Torah. Some quotes from the article. There is no right or wrong in grief. We need to accept whatever form it takes, both in ourselves and in others. If we can start to understand the true nature of grief, we can have a more helpful, loving, supportive culture. Both authors, she quotes from their new books in the area, in the field, emphasize that grief is not a problem to be solved or resolved. Rather, it's a process to be tended and lived through in whatever form and however long it may take. Recovery and adjustments can take much longer than most people realize. We need to accept whatever form it takes, both in ourselves and in others. And then she finishes with a few more lines. We can all benefit from learning how to respond to grief in ways that don't prolong, intensify, or dismiss the pain. Likewise, those trying to help need to know grief cannot be fit into a preordained time frame or form of expression. As a bereaved mother told Miss Samuel, who wrote one of the books, you never get over it, you get on with it. You never move on, but you move forward. Meaning it's always going to be part of you. You don't move on. You can move forward with the pain still there, but you move forward. So that applies, someone loses a child, you don't move on from it. You move forward. And you take some of these lines and you apply it to Chazal, what the Torah writes. Where the Torah writes it's achzariyut. A person goes ahead and doesn't go through the mourning process. It's cold to the whole process. Whether mourn himself or someone else. Rambam calls in Hilchot HaVeilut achzariyut. There's something not normal. It's insensitivity. We have days of crying, intense mourning. Then as we go through the period, let's say it's for a parent, we have the intense days of Shiva, then it gets a little bit less intense. It's not, the Shloshim B'chi passes, we have still days of sadness and Avelut, then you have Shloshim, then you have the Yud Bet Chodesh. But then, each year they have the Yurtzeit. And on the Yurtzeit, we do have things to commemorate the deceased, Aliyat Neshama. Fasting is part of the halacha. Many of us don't do that anymore for various reasons. And a halacha not so well known in the Ramah, in the Shulchan Aruch. Each year on the Yurtzeit, not only to fast, but also to avoid going to a Beit Mishta, to weddings, and other smachot, and the different poskim, what exactly that means. Meaning we're never totally out of the Avelut. The technical 7, 30, 12 months, that's over. But each year we revisit it and we're involved in some way. And we say Kaddish and we think about the deceased. So it's a beautiful line in the article. We don't move on, we move forward. The Avelut is part of us always in some way or another. It's not restricting us and not letting us focus and move forward in our life. We don't try to reject it and forget about it. On the contrary, we always think about what the person did and inculcate those values into our lives. So I think these books are very real. I didn't see the books, but Jane Brody's analysis and quotes from the books. But what's beautiful is they're really just hitting on the timeless messages of the Torah and Chazal to deal with the grief. Hopefully not let it overtake us, not just simply move on, but be able to move forward. Hashem should bless us with smachot And when we do have Avelot and we have grief, may Hashem bless us with the Chachma, Bina, and Dat to deal with it in a proper and healthy manner. Shalom.